It's finally time for some tough decisions. Hey guys, Tom here. Welcome back to the Underground and the Classic Cocktail Clash. We have come a long way in this adventure, and it's finally time to get to the heart of the matter. If you remember the last two round of 8 matchups we had, it's just hard to believe that 4 of them are going to be done today. And they were 8 great drinks, but only 4 could move on, and I left it up to you, and we're going to talk about it and see what happens. Now, I have to warn you, I'm not making any drinks in this video because we've made them over and over and over. I just want to get to it, talk to you about them, and then leave it up to you to decide what's going to happen next. So in one matchup in the round of 8, we were in the boozy bracket. And if you remember, it was the boozy bracket was the Old Fashioned and the Long Island Iced Tea. 2 drinks on total opposite ends of the spectrum in this competition. Old Fashioned was a drink that I thought was a classic, in my opinion, the most classic all the way through, against the Long Island Iced Tea, which was in the drinking bracket that made it all the way to the round of 8. 2 great drinks, and honestly, it was a lot closer, even for me, than I thought it would be. But I left it up to you. I had my 1 vote, just like you all did, and the winner by a very narrow margin in the boozy bracket to make it to the final 4 was, drum roll, the Old Fashioned. It's, you know what, as great of a drink as the Long Island Iced Tea is, the Old Fashioned is just, I mean, it's simple, it's sophisticated, it's historical, it's the epitome of classic to me. I'm not even going to wait. I'm going to try it right now. It's just a few simple ingredients, good bourbon, good bitters, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of fruit of your choice, and there's so many variations. It's just, you just can't go wrong. So cheers. I mean, come on. I mean, I could see if you're not a whiskey drinker, you don't like bourbon, but that is just simplicity, classic, elegance in a glass as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, really. So let's move on. The other round of 8 matchup was in the creamy bracket. Now this again was 2 drinks that were actually kind of surprising to me. I'm actually surprised that both of these made it as far as they did. The milk punch, which was, I mean, milk punch is basically an eggnog without, excuse me, an eggnog without eggnog. You got bourbon, milk, some spices, a little bit of sugar, and it's just really good. And then that went up against a grasshopper. To me, this is the classic drink from my parents' generation. I don't really see these too much around anymore. But again, this is one of those drinks. It's kind of like dessert in a glass. And again, either one would have deserved to win that bracket. But as you all decided, it wasn't up to me, it was up to you. And the winner, moving on to the final 4 from the creamy bracket, was the milk punch. I'm surprised by this only because of how far the grasshopper made it when I really didn't expect it to. I mean, the grasshopper beat Pink Lady, which was Brandy Alexander beat, which to me, Brandy Alexander and grasshopper are very similar drinks. One's mint, one's more chocolate, but I mean, and the milk punch, that beat the White Russian, total surprise, and the gin fizz, which is kind of like people are a little off by that because that one was raw egg, but regardless. So cheers to the creamy bracket and the milk punch. Again, simple brandy, or not brandy, bourbon. Although you probably could use brandy. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of vanilla. I added a little bit of vanilla liqueur, some milk, some nutmeg, garnish it with some more nutmeg. I threw a cinnamon stick in there just because. And here's the cool thing. Right here, we have two drinks historically from what I would say the South and more specifically New Orleans region. But that's not planned. It was totally by accident and the luck of how the draw played out. The fruity bracket is where we're going next, and that again featured two. One not so surprising to me, the other one was very surprising, and that is a sea breeze. I had not had a sea breeze in probably 30 years, if I've ever had one, and I had forgotten how good it is. It's quick, it's easy, 3 ingredients, vodka and some couple different fruit juices, but it was just really good. And it got all the way to the final 8, beating some heavy hitters. When I tell you the Mai Tai and the Tom Collins, they're no chumps. And then that went up against the Bahama Mama. Now, to me, that is the drink when you're thinking fruity, tropical, island drinks. Bahama Mama to me is it. Now, there's all kind of tropical drinks. You got rum runners, goombay smashes, yellow birds, pina coladas, straw fruit daiquiris, Mai Tai. I mean, they're all in there, but to me, there's just something about a Bahama Mama that just screams vacation. And that beat some good ones too. That beat the daiquiri, which, I mean, the basic rum, lime juice, sugar, a classic. Ernest Hemingway, the whole history behind that drink makes it that much more of a good drink. And the melon ball, which is an old-timey drink for me, more of the, I would say probably like from the disco era, but that was a good drink. But the Bahama Mama, won out to face the sea breeze. Again, I had my idea of where it was going to go, but I left it up to you all. And the winner, moving on to the final 4 to represent the fruity bracket, was, yes, it was the Bahama Mama. Not surprising. I mean, just look at it. It just screams relaxation, beach, surf, water, island, sun. Put on your sunglasses, rub yourself up with sunscreen, sip a couple Bahama Mamas, and you are instantly transported to any tropical location you want to go to. It's just really good. I mean, come on. You can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong. Wow, this is going to be tough. This is going to be really tough. And then finally, in this citrus bracket. Now, I think this was my favorite bracket because I like citrusy drinks. I think I've liked all the drinks in this category. But there was 2. One, I wouldn't say I expected it, but I'm glad because it's one of my favorite drinks. And one which I had never had until this competition, but it was really good. And that's a Paloma. I'm not a big tequila drinker, but there was just the simplicity and refreshing nature of this drink. Tequila, grapefruit soda, and a little bit of salt, a little bit of lime. I left out the salt. I'm not a tequila and salt guy, but it was just really, really nice, light, refreshing drink. And it beat some good ones. Gimlet, classic drink. Spirit, whether it be vodka or gin, some lime juice, and it was really good. And it also beat the mojito, which to me that's like if you follow basketball, the college basketball, that to me was like you always get a 12 beating 5 in the first round. That was this matchup, the Paloma and the Mojito. And it moved all the way to the end, to the final in the citrus bracket. And that went up against the Dark and Stormy. Again, one of my favorite drinks. We made the legitimate or authentic Dark and Stormy using Gosling Black Seal rum and Gosling ginger beer. Although, truth be told, Gosling ginger beer is not the favorite beer here at the Underground. We've done taste tests. I'll leave you a link if you want to check that out. But for this one, I did use the Gosling because I wanted to be authentic. And it was tough. Again, you guys helped me out. You picked the winner. And the winner was, moving on to the final 4, representing the citrus bracket, is the Dark and Stormy. Not surprising. I mean, it's really refreshing. It's just a tasty drink. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I like ginger beer. And I mean, this is in the citrus bracket because I like it, I think, with a lot of lime. And also, I think the ginger does give it a little bit of that citrus vibe, you know, because you get a little bit of, that little bit of pucker from the citrus. It's almost like a fruity heat type of thing, and that's what you get from the ginger. So there's our 4 drinks in the final 4. So without further ado, let's really get into them. Ready? Drink. Now each of these is interesting in its own way. You got the old fashioned. Cheers, by the way. Simplicity in the glass. A spirit, in this case bourbon. You can use rye, although I find rye to be has a little more bite. Some sugar, some bitters, and that's it. A little lemon or orange garnish. And I mean, there's nothing. See, I'm speechless. But we've made other ones. I mean, we did maple old fashioned. I think in the past we did an apple old fashioned at one point. There's many riffs on this, so that makes it that much better of a drink. And then we have the milk punch, a classic Southern drink. It's, like I said, it's basically an eggless eggnog, and you can riff on that. So you have eggnog is kind of like a variation. You move to South America or the Latin communities, a coquito, which is kind of like a spicy dairy drink, although it's a lot sweeter. They use condensed milk, evaporated milk. We've made them before. It's a great holiday drink. We'll make them again this year. Just let me have a sip of this before we move on. I want to cheat it. Bahama Mama. We had a whole episode just on what's the best Bahama Mama. And this is the one that we like. It's got rum, coconut rum, fruit juices, a little dash of bitters, some vanilla liqueur, that is. And let's see, rum, coconut rum, vanilla liqueur, juices, yeah. And there you have it, a little bit of grenadine. There's many variations. This is the one that we like the best. Put me on a beach, I'm there. I'm telling you, I am there. And then finally the Dark and Stormy. Simple, 2 ingredient drink basically. Well, 3 really if you count the citrus juice. There's a lot of variations of that, but again, you're making a mule at that point, because unless you're using those 2 ingredients, it's not really a Dark and Stormy, but that would not make it any less delicious. That being said, this is what we're going to do. I could easily bracket these up. I could do, these 2, and then these 2, or these 2 and these 2, or these 2 and these 2, but I'm not going to do that. All you have to do, and I implore you to help me out, is this. Pick your 2 favorites. You can pick any 2 of these. The 2 best out of these 4 will move on to the final bash matchup in the clash. and then we will decide which is the best classic cocktail of all time, according to us here at the Grantham Pub Underground. And then we might even do something special with that episode, but that remains to be seen. But in the meantime, please vote here, vote on Instagram. I'll put a little poll up there. Any way you can get to me and let me know which is your two favorites. It will help me out tremendously. And then you can come back and see how we did, how you did, if your favorites won. And it's gonna be a good time. And speaking of good time, we have them here all the time. So if it's your first time here, where have you been? We've been buzzing along through this clash and many other things. This is, I think, probably our 25th or 6th episode just in the clash. So you've missed a lot. So go back, there's a playlist of the clash. You can catch up, see all the different variations of the drinks we made. And then while you're at it, subscribe to the Grantham Pub Underground. That way you won't have missed any of the clash or anything moving forward. Ring the bell, you'll be notified when the bar's open. You can come take a seat and have a good time here at our little virtual get together with family, friends, for good times, good cocktails, good conversation, and everything that goes with it. And if you're so inclined, hey, share the video, like the video, helps us out, helps us grow, helps us become even more prolific in our quest for all things delicious in the world of spirits and cocktails. And you can come along for the ride. So until then, remember, if you're going to drink, please drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Have a good time. And come see us again. We'll be glad to have you anytime the bar is open. And until that time, remember, I'll save a seat at the bar for you. Cheers.